Hello, everybody. Welcome to my channel, and thank you for joining. Now we have 3 more teams to finish off with their practice games and their reviews. So here is one of them now. It's gonna be the big one, okay? The StKilda game, which was the one I really wanted to see because there's so many rookies in my team. From StKilda, so it's a StKilda and Port Adelaide game. Let's see how they went. Now we're gonna start first with StKilda. Now before I even go through all these stats, okay, there is something you must understand. Okay, now when you see a player like Jack Steele or Wangani Malera, and you see the scores are low, okay, don't panic, okay, because at the end of the day, this is a practice game, okay? A practice game means it's practice, okay? It doesn't mean they're going to go full ball and smash each other's heads in and try to win that ball. It doesn't matter because they're just practicing. Just come down. So let's start off first with Jack McRae. And if he isn't already locked into your teams, okay, I think the time has come to lock him in because the old Jack McRae is back, okay, and he was only just cruising in second gear, just strolling around the park, and had 32 disposals. He went nuts, okay, and 117 Supercoach points. So he's actually possibly even a captain option at his cheap price. So a big bonus for all of us to have Jack McRae in our defence. And I think we're going to go through the ownership later on, but I think he's highly owned. Now, Boxall was a surprise packet. Okay, now he did play midfield and a bit of forward time. I mean, only 15 touches, so it wasn't like a ball magnet. Okay, so don't expect the score of 83 every week from Boxall. Probably more of a 60s man, I would say. Okay, so Boxall, I'd say him going for about 60s, but as long as he gets game time, we're happy. So if Boxall plays round 1, I'm gonna pick him. Okay, I'm gonna have him in my team. Now, Jack Steele had 22 touches, and if you look here, where's his tackle? 4 tackles. Now, Jack Steele has 10 tackles a game, okay? Now, 4 tackles is nothing for him, so don't be concerned about Jack Steele. He had 79 Supercoach points, but it means nothing, okay? So I wouldn't even be worried about this. It's just he's just out there to run around. He's not going to injure himself. He's seen other players get injured in this preseason. No point going too hard. So we're happy just to see Jack still running around. That's what I was happy with. Now, Wangani Malera, the same story, okay? We actually saw him play the second half in the midfield, okay? Now, and then we pretty much saw Jack still move away from that midfield, okay? So they'll just play. There's probably experimenting a little bit, but I would say Wangani Malera will not move from defence, okay? He'll play defence all year. So he scored a 76, okay, but don't be too concerned. I'd say he'd be a 100 to 110 this year. I got on Wangani, maybe 100 to 105 is what I think Malera can do this year. Now, players of interest, and at StKilda there's a lot of them. Okay, now Hugo Garcia is one of them. Scored, had 18 touches, played as the third mid during most of the game, and then sort of played a little bit on the forward line. The problem with Garcia, 71 Supercoach points, but his problem, I think, stems from his disposal efficiency. Okay, I saw a lot of his kicks or handballs. They weren't very accurate. Okay, I can understand it was a windy conditions. Okay, a very windy game, and they're pretty much not game hardened or whatever they call this thing. So maybe that's the reason. But I've got my doubts on Garcia now. Okay, so the role is there for him, but you're paying $250K. Okay, he's going to be a cash cow. You're not getting him as a keeper. But yeah, I've got question marks, okay? So we'll continue with Garcia, but he did have a good game. I mean, 18 touches is not bad, but even fantasy points, it was only 67. So the disposal efficiency doesn't count for fantasy, so he didn't set the world on fire yesterday. Now, keep in mind, they didn't get much of the ball because the Hogs at Port Adelaide, they took it all up. They hogged everything, just coming down. Now, the play that impressed me a lot was Hasty, but it says here that he got injured. So I've got to find out more about Hasty. He did impress me. Only scored 59 Supercoach points, but his role was good. But this injury, I don't know what it is. So I'm going to find out more. So hopefully it's not that bad. But he did impress me. And if he starts round one, I'll start him as well. Because at Abs Magic we're a little bit tight on cash. So we're trying to find these cheapos and the Hasties and these Box Hills. Okay, that make us very excited when we see the price tags. Now, O'Connell is another one, okay. He had 86% time on ground, scored a 54, okay. Now, he's probably going to go at 60, 55, around there. Probably make us about 130, 140k, but he's a defender in our team, so just put him on the bench, okay, and he's cheap. So if he plays round one, again, I'm very excited, I'll play him. But he could also be a sub-risk, okay? That's the only thing with O'Connell. I think Box Hill might also be a sub-risk, okay? So probably Box Hill and O'Connell are two sub-risks. I'd say that Hasty has a role there, but the problem with Hasty is that injury, the ambulance there, so that makes me panic. Now, going further down, Hall, okay? He had 80% time on ground, scored a 44. He's also a sub-risk, so they've got a few here that are sub-risks. There's a lot of youngsters here. So Hall is one to keep an eye on. At the moment, I'm probably going to pass on him, okay? But we'll see how he goes. But we'll see if he gets selected. I think players like Hasty, Box Hill, even O'Connell are ahead of him at this stage. But who am I to guess, okay? I have no idea. Now, Boyd... Okay, he had 18 hitouts. His opposition, Sweet, had 28 hitouts. The thing with Boyd was he only had 10 touches, so there wasn't many disposals. And so he didn't score many Supercoach points, and probably the efficiency was off because he had scored more fantasy points. So it was a tough game for Boyd. But then again, if the midfielders aren't going in there hard and playing hard, like Steele wasn't really going in for that ball, so I'd say it does affect Boyd's scoring, because when Boyd hits the steal, Boyd gets 4 points, so he wasn't getting those 4 points. So we'll see how it goes with Boyd, but I think hopefully he plays in round one. We'll see how it goes, because Owens got injured but doesn't have an ambulance sign on him, so I'm not sure what's going on. I saw Owens holding his shoulder towards the end of the game, which then put Keeler on the field, and Keeler, number 17, he looks sensational. Okay, I was so impressed with Keeler. He looks better than King. Okay, now in his 44% time on ground, kicked a goal. Okay, had 36 Supercoach points for a full forward / ruckman, because he was doing a bit of tap work as well. I think he only got one hit out. Okay, so it wasn't much tap work, but he looked good. If he actually is named to play in round one, and depending on how bad the injury is for Owens, it could be someone to consider. Okay, but still got Marshall to come in, still got King to come in. So maybe just watch. Okay, see how it goes. Now, was there anyone else? Okay, now let's go down the order here. Travalia was one. Okay, now he had 28% time on ground and scored 21. So that's 1/4 of footy. When the game was pretty much done and dusted, everyone's tired. Travalia with fresh legs looked half decent, but the problem is, even if I ran out at the last quarter with fresh legs, I would look half. These players were cooked by the time I got to the fourth quarter. So I'm not sure on his job security. I have concerns, especially for his price tag. Okay, 175k. That's a lot of cash. Okay, right now. So at the moment, keep an eye on him. Also a big sub-risk, Travalia is. Now we go over to Port Adelaide. Okay, now this is Connor Rosie. Okay, now he had 39 disposals in a practice game. Okay, he thought he was playing a grand final. Okay, Rosie, he was so excited to get out there as the captain, and he went nuts. Okay, scored 161 Supercoach points. Now, we don't expect Connor Rosie to have 39 disposals every week, okay? Now, with Butters out, I think Rosie offers a lot of value at his price, so it's a player to consider. Plus, he has a really good draw early on. Now, there's going to be a lot of traps here, okay? Because when I was watching this game, StKilda, their forwards played in the midfield, whilst the Port Adelaide players were in defence. So, for example, if there was a kick in or something, or Port had the ball in the defensive half, you'd see all of the StKilda players dropping right back to a deep, like a zone from midfield onwards. Okay, so their defenders had a picnic. Okay, so you can see all their defenders are high scorers. You got Bergman, Evans, Finlayson. Okay, they're all in the top scoring. So I'm actually surprised that Farrell didn't score much. How did Burton go? Burton didn't even play. But I wouldn't look at these scores and think, wow, these players are going to go off, because I think it's a trap. It's not going to happen. So keep an eye on this. Now, you don't get to see another week of them either, so it's now or never with these players. You got to decide straight away, and I can see them as a trap. Okay, so just be careful, buyer beware, because if you take a look at Port Adelaide's defence last year, Houston was their best defender, and he couldn't even score. I mean, he barely scored. He averaged 107, I think it was. I'll have a look later on, but it wasn't enough to say that their defence are going to score a lot of points. So I'd be very careful with these players. Now, the horny man, he went nuts as well. 31 touches, only a 108, which is not much because he won't get 31 touches every week. Okay, but he only had 68% time on ground as well, so he was hardly there. Okay, so the horny man is primed for a big year, I think. So get on the horny man. Now, I don't think Wines is Supercoach relevant this year because of his price. It's not the same as last year. Now, if we go further down, again, you got the Burgoynes, another one scoring at 103. So virtually you got Lukosius, well, he played forward. So Burgoyne, Finlayson, Evans, Bergman, 4 of them all going at 100s. Okay, that's unheard of. Now, Richards scored a 91. I'm not sure on Richards. Okay, plays in the forward line. I'm not sold. Sweet as their ruckman, scoring an 88 against pretty much Boyd, so it doesn't give you much hope. It's not very sweet when you can only score 91, so I'd probably pass. Going further down, Sam Powell-Pepper, okay, scored 2 goals to get his 75. 75 for his price is pretty much the pass mark. 2 goals. He had 19 touches to get that 2 goals. Keep in mind, he also had 82% time on ground. It's something to consider, but I think 180k is a high price to pay for a rookie, especially in the forward line. Farrell, okay, he didn't do much. He was probably the only one that was bludgeoning. Okay, all the defenders, he was having a picnic while he was watching the others play. Now, Josh Sin, he scored 67. That's in half a game. Okay, another one in defence that was doing the same as these players. So he only had 40% time on ground. So he got that in the first half. It's just hard to read because StKilda didn't really defend. Okay, their forward defence was pretty much nothing. There's nothing there. So I'm not sure about Sin. Now, and Sin is 220k. So you either get a rookie or you pay 220k for a Josh Sin, and you're hoping to get minimum from 220k. You want an 85 to 90 average from him. I don't know if you can average that. Okay, so something to think about. Is there anyone else? I don't think there was. Okay, that's pretty much it. With Port Adelaide. Well, there's one more. There's Berry. Okay, now Berry had a full game. Okay, had 14 touches. Kicked. How many goals did he kick? Well, no goals. Okay, but doesn't matter. And scored a 48. Now this is going to be the same with Kako. Okay, now if there's no goals, they're going to score a similar score, 48, maybe a 40, because Berry had 14 touches. He may get 10 touches. Kako, we saw, kicked 4 goals, scored nearly 100. So it's what happens. You need to kick a lot of goals to get to the 100 mark. So Berry, Kako, all these forward pocket players, they're going to be slow burns. Okay, unless they have a big bag of goals one week, then they'll fly, make some big cash, then drop again. So something to watch out for anyway. So let's pick some players in here, okay, all the Supercoach relevant ones, and we got Jack Sinclair as probably one of them, okay. He's probably going to play in round one. I would say he's going to play, and this is going to pretty much affect Wangani Milera possibly, okay, but I could see Wangani Milera still taking a lot of kick-ins. I could see Sinclair taking a lot of kick-ins. They're both going to probably play a similar role. Sinclair may even go into that midfield because they're very light on in the midfield. So I'm not sure Sinclair's role. I'd avoid Sinclair right now, simply because he's just coming off a hamstring injury. His ownership numbers have dropped. They were 18%, now they're down to 9%. So people have jumped on Wangani Milera instead. So be cautious with Sinclair because we don't know what role he's going to have. Wangani Milera, we do like his role, okay? We do like the fact he takes kick-ins, and especially if Sinclair moves into that midfield, then we're going to see more kick-ins for Milera, but we don't know on Sinclair's role yet to ascertain. Okay, that's a big word for me. Just coming down. Okay, we don't know if we can work out if Wangani Milera is the sole kick-in player yet, so we don't know that. Now, going further down, Farrell was mentioned in the pre-season. He's only 1% owned, so he's not big at the moment. But surprisingly, Bergman is 2% owned. So that's shocked me right now. So I'm not sure about Bergman, to be honest. I know he scored big and people got excited, but it was against StKilda. What did Bergman do last year? Let's have a look. Well, as you can see here, he can score a 119 and he can back it up with a 57 and a 54 and a 34. Just coming down. Okay, so if you want to pull your hair out, then grab Bergman because I can't see him going nuts. You can have the off one occasion where you can go nuts. Now, where did he play last year? Let's have a look. Where was he playing? Which position was Bergman playing last year? We're going to find out. Let's see that 119 game where he played for that game. Okay, we could be onto something here. Okay, let's have a look. Maybe that 119 game was in defence. Where's this 119 game? Okay, it was around here. Okay, where did he play this game? Okay, when he scored the 119, he was more a winger. All right, which is even a bigger shock. Okay, now when he played towards the back end of the season, okay, let's get these apps going. No commercials. So let's have a look at these. Let's get a look at 90 score. It says halfback flank, and there he is there, halfback flank. So he actually scores more on the wing than his other halfback flank. So and all these positions, it says back. It's more of a back pocket. Back pocket's probably one of the worst positions, especially if you don't take the kick-ins. I haven't got kick-in breakdown, but he's all back pocket, so I'd pretty much pass on him. Now, this defensive area here is going to be stacked in a minute because there are so many players in here. So we're going to see how we go now because there's a lot of questions asked. Okay, now some people have mentioned Logan Evans because everyone got excited from this last game. Okay, so Logan Evans has been mentioned. Other players that I mentioned from this game as a defensive option for our teams. Well, Shawmaker was in the picture, but looks like he's not a loved child right now, so no one loves him. So I don't think he's going to be picked. So we'll pass on Shawmaker, which is actually a surprise the way he kicks, but maybe his defensive work is not up to standards with Ross Lyon. I'm not sure what it is, but he's not going to be playing. Now, people are talking about Josh Sin, okay, so he's 29k. I mean, desperation sets in because we don't have enough cash to spread around, so we're looking for some players that may make some money, so that's why Josh Sin is mentioned, but Josh Sin has to go. Let's work this out, okay? Okay, let's get this. How much does Josh Sin have to make? Okay, I'll show you something now. Josh Sin, if he averages, let's say, we're going to get it actually. There's one you can do all. Okay, this one. Okay, go all. If you go 85. Right, why is this thing not moving? Okay, 85. Let's move this to 85. Okay, and project. So if Josh Sin goes at 85 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games at 85, he goes to 400k. Okay, now that's a good thing. Okay, now 400k, you make probably about 170k on him, and that's a success. Okay, 85. If he goes at 80, I'd say it's a fail. Okay, even though 80 sounds good. Okay, project at 80 with 7 games, he goes to 380k, makes that 150k. All right, and it's a fail. So why is it a fail for an extra 20 or 30k? Well, what's the difference? You may ask. Okay, well, the difference is you're spending an extra 100k. Okay, this 100k you're spending here, you can upgrade a player like Wangani Malera to get a player like, just for argument's sake, all right, just say you don't have this player, you can get a player like, let's get over here, like a Harry Sheasels, for example. Okay, so that 100k makes a big difference. Okay, so to make up for that, because if you have a player here, for example, let me show you something. Let's put O'Donnell here, who's also a player that we're interested in. Now, O'Donnell is virtually 110k cheaper than Sin. Okay, now if O'Donnell scores, okay, let's go season stats. Let's say he scores at 55. Okay, O'Donnell. Okay, let's have a look at his stats at 55. Okay, once this thing works for me, because I think my internet's slow. Okay, it's building up. It's building the excitement for us. Where is it? What's going on? Okay, here we go. Now, if O'Donnell goes at 55, all right, let's project after 7 rounds. Okay, 7 rounds is here. Okay, he goes to 254. So O'Donnell makes 135k. All right, now, and he's only gone at 55. Sin has gone at 80 and made 150k. So why would we want to have O'Donnell's 55 and make less cash while Sin has made more cash and is scoring higher? So where's the logic in this, you may ask? Well, the logic is you get a player like Sheasels in your team, okay, who has the ability to score 150s. You're getting a gun a gun in there, or you can get a Kane Farrell, transfer him and turn him into well, not a Sinclair, but into somebody else. So you could turn Farrell into possibly get over here. A player like Farrell can become a player like Wangani Malera. So that 100k makes a big difference, because to get Sin, it means you have to lose Wangani Malera possibly, or you have to lose Sheasel. So you're gaining something, but you're losing something else, if that makes sense. So that's why I don't mind a player like O'Connell scoring 55 for me on the bench, and he's still making money. Okay, I don't care about Sin's 80 points right now. I care more about getting these players on my team. Let's start in the midfield now, and let's bring in Jack Steele now. Priced at 585k. Some could call it a bargain. Some may say it's a trap. Okay, some people have been burnt last year from Jack Steele. So Jack Steele is the kind of player that needs to tackle. Okay, if he doesn't tackle, it's his tool, it's his arson, it's his bread and butter, it's his tackling. And last year, we know, even the previous couple of years, he's had the shoulder complaints, he's had injuries. At the moment, according to Jack Steele himself, he's in tip-top shape. He can run through a brick wall right now, but he hasn't mentioned that, but I just put that in because it sounds better. But that's what he can do. Just cover down. Now, so Jack Steele, at 585k, if we can get back to his old self was a player that could average 130 once upon a, and it wasn't long ago. It was only 4 years ago. It was an eternity ago. But Jack Steele's partner in crime is Jack McRae. Okay, Jack Steele has been the solo man. Okay, in that midfield. Now he has somebody to help him. So I feel that Jack Steele is going to go next level this year. Okay, so that's a feeling I have. Ignore what you saw in that practice game. I don't care about what I saw there, because I know it's just a practice game. Now, next up in that midfield, who do I like? Well, believe it or not, okay, Butters, okay, when he was in the team, when Butters was fit and healthy, I actually picked Connor Rosie in my team because I didn't want to spend 640k on Butters, and I thought to myself, what's the next best thing after Butters? And it was Rosie because they're going to share the same fixture. Okay, so Butters is a good fixture, but then so does Rosie. Okay, so they're going to share the same fixture. So I actually didn't start Butters, and I started Rosie with the plan of then upgrading, hopefully Rosie catching up to Butters' price, and then transferring, doing a switch from Rosie to Butters. But now I don't have to do that because Butters isn't playing, so Rosie it is. So I actually like the Rosie pick. I think with the matchups that he has, and let me show you the matchups, they're quite good. Okay, they're very good. Even, where are we? Matchups. Okay, round one, Collingwood. Okay, Richmond, Essendon, StKilda, Hawthorn. Sydney may be a tough one. Maybe a tag coming here. Hawthorn possibly could tag him. Well, actually, so could StKilda. So possible tags are coming. Okay, I'm not saying he's untaggable, but these tags could also affect the horny man. So we don't know who the tags are going to come to, but I do like Rosie. Okay, and at 529k, it's a good deal, I think. So I've locked him in my team, but my team is changing left, right, and centre at the moment. So even still isn't guaranteed to be my team. Now, if we go further down, any more Supercoach relevant players, and we're looking. I think the rest are going to be all from StKilda. Now, Filipu, when is he coming back? Mid-season, so it's going to be a while for Filipu. Now, Garcia has been mentioned. Similar to Sin, okay? I need Garcia to go at 85 minimum, maybe even 90, all right? I prefer Garcia at 90, actually, especially if he's going to get that mid-roll. Sin I like because he's a defender, okay? So in defense, we don't have many options. That's why I don't mind Sin going at 85. But when I'm going to pay 245k and I'm sacrificing having some of the best players in this team, I'd rather Garcia go closer to 90, and I don't think he can do that. I think he'll go 80, 85. But anyway, let's leave him there for now because his disposal efficiency is not the best. Now, going further down, we have Max Hall, which we're not sure about. Okay, Hasty had that injury concern. I don't know. Maybe he just got tired and it was a cramp, so we're not sure about Hasty. Box Hill, okay, my boy Box Hill is gonna. I think he's gonna play round one. I hope so. Is there anyone else? That's pretty much it. So this is the midfield. Now let's move over to the rucks in this game. Now we know Marshall is subject to fitness test. So I'd say he's going to play, all right? But now if he plays, what happens to Boyd? That's a good question. We're going to find out because I can't give you that answer right now. But it looks like King is not available to play. So I'd say Marshall will have to go into the forward line and Boyd back in the ruck again. Because their forward line, looking at that practice game, was in big trouble. They need forwards. So surely Marshall. I can't see Boyd playing forward. Okay, so it has to be Marshall. And in the forward line, speaking of forwards, okay, now the horny man. I think horny man, McRae. I think they're going to be top three. Between them, there's also the boy from Adelaide, Rankin. Between the three of them, they'll be top three. Anyone else? Now, we did mention that Owens looked like he got injured, but there's nothing that suggests that, so we're not sure on Owens' injury. Going further down, we know King is injured. We're not sure how long. It says subject to fitness tests, but I heard on SEN that he's going to be out for a while, so I don't know what it's saying there. Go further down. Who else is here? Okay, well, there's Sam Powell-Pepper, which now it says that he's injured, but he played, so I think this app is not updated. But at 180k, do you want to spend that kind of money on him? Then you got Joe Berry at 140k, offers job security, but doesn't offer a lot of points, so it's not a thing you have to worry about. Is there anyone else? The only one that I liked a lot, well, I just saw him for a couple of minutes, was Kilda. He looks really good, okay? So, but I think job security very low, okay? Very, very low chance of playing. And even if he does play, playing 7 weeks in a row to hold that position will even be tough. So, he's probably a work in progress. I don't think he's going to be getting 7 games back to back unless something drastic happens. And that's pretty much it for this game. We've now come to the end of this video, so thank you for joining, and remember one thing. It's nice to be important, but it's important to be nice. Ciao for now.
That's all, folks.